So I saw that today we had a tech demo for Witcher 4, which from what I heard, and from I heard two things. First, shouldn't take it very seriously because it is a tech demo. It's not the actual game. It's the tech demo for Unreal, apparently Unreal 5.6. And second, it's looking really nice. And also Ciri is the protagonist, but I think we already knew that. I don't think that's, at least for me, that's not really news. Like I think I already knew, and I also was kind of expecting her to be the next protagonist because, you know, Geralt is gone. He's not dead. He's gone. You know, he went to retire with his wife. Let him enjoy his beautiful brunette witch with lilac and gooseberries smell, I think. And we get a pretty badass good girl. You know, I think Ciri is an awesome protagonist. So this is what I was curious about. This is what I want to see. Because
this is a technological showcase set in the world.
Because let me pause for a second. Like, the world looks absolutely stunning. And if they actually do this for the game, man, claps for them, because insane. And from what I know, this game is being done in Unreal Engine 5. But at the same time, this is a tech demo, so they're using the latest technologies from Unreal 5 in this tech demo. So as you can see, like, probably a lot of the foliage was built with using technology from Unreal. Maybe even some of the world was built with using those tools that they have for like a procedural generation for terrain.
What you just saw and are going
And like
to see now,
the way the cape moves, man, like just look at this, like the way it
60 FPS with ray tracing.
This is
So in the
insane.
game, you'll be playing as Ciri, a professional monster slayer, a witcher. She explores the world and hunts down monsters for coin. The region we are in is called Kovir, and you'll get to explore it in a game.
Kovir.
Right now, Ciri is investigating the monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village.
Yeah, man, this looks absolutely stunning.
All right, everyone, meet Kelpie.
Horse?
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
So just like Geralt had Roach, Ciri has her own loyal companion.
Let's go. Roach number 2. Can he also glitch on the world? Bro,
These
she
two
looks
characters
so
needs to
good.
feel like one. Since you're gonna explore the world on horseback, riding needs to feel seamless, natural, and just fun.
Yeah, and to support that, we're introducing multi-character motion matching in Unreal. So Ciri and Kelpie, they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any angle and speed.
Okay.
And we also support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded. And there are also some really nice improvements to our Unreal Chaos Flesh Solver and these machine-learned deformations. So you've got realistic muscles moving and stretching
Wow.
over Kelpie's skin without compromising the performance there.
Like this, yeah, it's nice that they're showing this. Like, this looks so minor. And honestly, when you're playing the game, you're probably not gonna notice this kind of things. You know, it's not the kind of things that you're paying attention to, but it's just those little things that you know, it makes the difference when it comes to immersion. You know, like, even if you're not paying attention to it a lot, like, the moments you pay attention and you see it, it just sells it so much more. Crazy. Again, this is a tech demo. This is not Witcher 4 for real, but the game is being done in Unreal 5, so one can hope.
Anti-geometry, we've freed artists from so many of their old constraints. But we don't want to rest until everything we do in Unreal has that same spirit of freedom. There's
Crazy.
always more work to do.
This looks
And foliage
beautiful.
is a huge piece of that puzzle. So we are excited to introduce nanite foliage.
Nanite foliage.
And in order to achieve gorgeous foliage density everywhere, while still being memory efficient, fast to render, we believe that a new idea
Nanite
was needed.
foliage.
So instead of the same card approach, we
So nanite had that thing where when you're distant, like nanite for volumetrics and for light, right? Not for light, for mesh. So the further you are, that the mesh was kind of adaptive. So it kind of when you're far away from it, it adapts to a lower resolution mesh, but it doesn't look that low resolution because it is far away, right? But it does very seamlessly with nanite. So doing this to foliage, it depends. It's gonna depend on how good the range of it is, but you probably can tweak around the settings, right? As a developer, this can lead to some pretty stunning visuals inside of like forests and just
we've been using for the past 20 years.
a lot of nature things.
Artists should be free to take
Pretty
a
cool.
nanite approach to foliage, modeling every single leaf and pine needle.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And the old
stupid.
LOD tricks of the past, they needed a complete rethink.
Yeah.
And in their place, it's a new adaptive voxel representation
Uh-huh.
in nanite. It's volumetric, it's fully 3D, it is super fast to render.
Okay.
And these dense clusters of triangles turn into these cubes, which at a distance, they're no larger than a pixel, and they react to the changing light of our dynamic
That's the thing. At a distance, they're not larger than a pixel. So if you're looking for at it from far away, you're not gonna notice. It doesn't make a difference.
sun and our shadows, and they allow artists to render whatever amount of foliage
Wow.
is needed to achieve their vision without compromise.
And no compromise means how ambitious we are when it comes to bringing our vision to life with incredible visuals.
At the same time, it scares me because, again, Unreal is amazing. It's a free tool. It gives a amazing visual fidelity and at the tip of your fingers, and it's free. Makes it available for every developer. But again, it makes it so a lot of the games have that Unreal look, which in itself is not bad. It looks real, right? But I just think a lot of developers can't be stuck on just relying on the tech that Unreal gives them to make their game look good. They need visual identity to sell more than just good looks. Like even the particles from the foliage.
Welcome to Valdrest. So Valdrest is a port town, a hub for fishing, trade, and mining.
Like I
It's one of those
really hope
places where you
this
can
is
meet
the
shady
actual
characters or overhead
way the
gossip
game
from
is
other
gonna
lands.
be or
It's
look,
also where Ciri took on her current contract.
but I don't know.
High-tech, let's leave Kelpie here and explore the marketplace and food.
Like realistically, talking like actuality, would CD Projekt go so far as to make a complete snippet of the game exclusive for this bullshit and not have it in the actual game? Like, would they use so much of their time since they've been developing this game for, I don't know, like 7 years now or something, maybe more, maybe less. They have been developing this game for a while. Like, would they go so far as to just make this snippet, like this 15-minute thing, just to showcase it for Unreal and not have it be in the actual game? You know, like, are these new assets? Is Ciri not gonna look like this? Is that not the horse?
I'm
This
so
has to
excited
be.
we can finally show you
This
some
has
of
to
this.
be like how the game
Let's see what Valdrest has to offer.
looks. Maybe not looks, but like cities, scenery, you know? Jesus. Like, I'm not gonna take anything too seriously because,
Guys,
you
notice
know,
how
again,
responsive the world is.
it is
Character actions
a tech
directly
demo.
affect what happens around you. Sometimes even setting off chain reactions.
He's actually
Everything
playing
is
it. That's
working
crazy.
together.
Like, even as a tech demo, that's absurd.
Well, suffice to say,
She looks really
they'll not
good.
reach you. As for the salt, found not one speck. I presume this comes as no surprise.
The expressions are it's freaky.
While Ciri decides what to do about that merchant, let's take a look at the character technology that powers this marketplace. Why don't we listen in on these fishmongers? They're
NPC
selling their
AI.
wares, chatting up customers.
Morning, catch this is. We'll find none fresher.
Reckon me lady's after one of them.
Get this cleaned and gutted for you. You mind, dearest? into seeing something more. Got macro card, all Brexit's finest.
And there is tons of tech.
Like, I'm gonna pause again. I hate pausing, but I need to talk about this. Like, one of the things I believe they not in this game, but I think developers need to pay attention to is making us care about NPCs. You know, like it feels really redundant because most of the time we don't, and we just don't really care that much about their lives or what they do, and we don't really take interest in a lot of things what they do. Like, okay, there are games that kind of manage to do that. You kind of find an NPC funny or interesting, or he's quirky, but what I mean about this is I want to take in examples from like isekai animes, or not necessarily only isekai, like a Sword Art Online vibes, or like oh Jesus, what's the name of that one there? Log Horizon, and you know, so some of those which they play inside of games. The fantasy sells so much better when you have NPCs that feel real, right? Mushoku Tensei is for isekai. Isekai is also a good example, but isekai is just another world, right? So everyone would be real. Everyone would be an actual person. But like a game simulation, there are NPCs, right? And of course, we can't still reach that level of fidelity because that would mean probably having like a generative AI doing that kind of job, because they need to answer to pretty much every situation, to anything that you say, and they don't have just predetermined answers, which is insane. Like, unreasonable? No. Like, I think the tech is almost there, right? I saw a video yesterday from 11 Labs, that software company that does AI voices, and that shit was freakily sheep. I don't know. That's not the right word, but it was insane. The results we were getting nowadays with like voice acting, absolutely absurd. You know. So if you have enough chaining of paths, and if the AI has enough context, so the NPC understands where they are situated and what they are, they can just answer that way, right? Like, you can have an AI already answer like that. If you tell them like, oh, pretend you are XYZ, they can already pretend to be a certain vocation or a certain person with a certain personality, and try to answer in a different manner. And I can definitely see that being applied to a game, because I think the next level for games, it's not graphics fidelity anymore. We are reaching the peak of fidelity for games, right? Like, it's really hard to imagine games looking better and just not being like a barely reality, right? And I think what needs to be done is how the world interacts with the player, right? Next level for games is season 16 of League. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Okay, like, having good combat is great. Having good skills is awesome. Having good visuals is amazing. But you need to have a world that sells itself as a world, right? So that means how the animals interact with you, how the weather interacts with you, how NPCs interact with you. Because if you care about the NPC, you're gonna care about what he does, or what his family does, and what happens to him. So caring has emotional entanglement, right? And having emotional entanglement, that's what makes great games. Like good games that are praised, they're not only praised because they play well. They usually are also praised because they kind of have an emotional bond with you. Like, okay, Elden Ring maybe it's not the best example, because it doesn't really have a lot of vocal connection, right? You don't have a lot of dialogue, but the game definitely gives you a certain type of bond. You feel something from what you're doing, like, even if it's greatness, like, I'm beating this challenge, like, I'm just beating the next boss, and I'm getting to beat the next god, and I'm gonna burn this freaking tree. But Baldur's Gate, for example, it's a game that's very reliant on dialogue. So caring about the NPCs is a big part of it. And they did a very good job on that part. Like you have a lot of this branching when it comes to dialogue, and the NPCs have a lot of personality. They had great actors to do it, right? So I think the next step is just having the world, having the player care about the world, and NPCs need to be up to par. Because NPC AI, if you go back, for example, to Fallout New Vegas, they already had amazing NPC AI. You cared about the NPCs. You cared about Nuketown. Doesn't matter if you exploded it or not, you cared about it, right? Because it was intricate. It had connection. It was good dialogue. It was well written. It was well acted. So you cared about these things a lot. And that's what made that game so great. So you need those kinds of things. And it doesn't, and nowadays, it's not enough to just have good NPC interaction like Fallout New Vegas, because we already have tech to do so much better.
Right here. Even a simple market stall, metahuman tools, improved Unreal Smart Objects, Chaos Cloth, and more.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like this is a tech demo. So again, I want to be impressed, and I am impressed, but I need real world applications. I need to see this inside of a game. I need to see this inside of Witcher 4. Like, look at this. Like, this is amazing. It's just two NPCs interacting with each other.
And more.
Yeah, that's the
And
one.
all of this exists to make sure that the gap in quality between Ciri and NPCs is as small as possible.
Yeah, and closing that gap, it's not just about fidelity, right? But also authenticity. They should react to changes in the world
Exactly.
around them.
Authenticity, reaction.
But the prisoner in Pillory isn't exciting enough for Valdrest.
And this is
Let's grab
also
everyone's attention.
this is also a big part of it. The NPCs, they don't react only to you. They react to each other. They have to be a world by themselves.
The circus.
It needs to be a living world so I can care about the world. It doesn't have to live for me. It has to live on its own. I'm
But
only
the
a part of it.
performance deserves a huge crowd though. Let's crank it up.
Over 300 animated skeletal mesh agents all going about their business. And the whole point is to leave breathing room for developers like you to introduce the gameplay and the systems that your players expect, empowering you to make your worlds come to life without Unreal standing in your way.
You are right. That's the open world RPG that we're making. But before we wrap up, how
Like,
about one final
This looks really good, and this almost sells what I'm talking about. Almost does it. Like, I'm being very nitpicky because I'm trying to look for this future, right? To look for Unreal 6, not Unreal 5.6.
open
Like,
world RPG that
this is amazing because you have a lot of NPCs doing different things, but a lot of them are still just, standing around, just looking at the show, which is fine. It's what you do at the show, right? And then you have the other ones which are walking around,
But
the
before we
guards
wrap up,
just
how
chilling,
about one final check-in
and
with
people
Ciri?
just do emoting around.
So we're almost done, but before we go, here's a small gift for all Witcher fans.
Combat.
First look at Lanexeter.
Wow. Okay. So they are seeing a first look at, I don't know, Lanixada or whatever. So even though this is a tech demo, this is inside of Witcher 4. This has to be. It has to be. Because otherwise they wouldn't be giving it so much emphasis. And they're saying, oh, for Witcher fans. So this is in the game. And honestly, holy shit. Is that a Manticore?
Onward, Kelpie. With what?
Bro, this game will slap. I really hope they nail it with Witcher 4. Like, it's hard. It's gonna be a hard task because Witcher 3, they had books to work on it. Witcher 4, they don't. There isn't a book for Ciri. There is no book for Ciri. So there isn't an after. So I'm scared. I'm scared to how they handle the story because that's what made Witcher 3 so amazing. Because the combat was ass. The world was amazing. The world was fantastic. The story was intricate, was amazing. You cared about the characters. Everything about it was awesome. So if they don't nail the story, this game is fucked. Though I think one of the reasons Witcher 3 was so popular is because of the main character, in my opinion. Yes. Geralt is amazing and he has a lot of personality. You love Geralt. And I saw people criticize having Ciri as the main character, but I don't think it's a bad choice. It is the natural course of history. It had to happen. I'm not going to spoil because you haven't played Witcher 3. So this is the next point for Witcher. It had to be Ciri. And I think she is the right choice. And I think the story has a lot of ways for her to go. You know? But she's OP. And I'm scared of how OP she could be. Like, this is a small snippet of Ciri on Witcher 3. Because you play with her for like a little amount. And she's freaking OP as fuck. She's TPing around. Look at this. And one-shotting everything.
An open world like that was just the perfect content to focus on our main goal for the release.
This world
which was
looks awesome.
performance.
And
We wanted
it's exactly what I was talking about with empowering developers, but losing the Unreal touch. Like, this is just a beautiful game, right? I don't want to say I don't see the Unreal touch because it's made in Unreal, but the world has personality, right? That's what games should strive for. Like, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 was made in Unreal, but it had a lot of personality, you know? And that's what most developers sometimes lose when they're making games. You need to have a visual identity. So for your game to have success, for it to strive, you know?
content to
It's not about just having a cool main character or having cool visuals. You need identity.
The only way to have a forest that looks as good as this one is to use 3D geometry for all parts of the tree.
Or you can also mod Skyrim to freaking heaven, and you're also gonna have something like this.
These 28 little parts that you see are all that we use to build all the spruces from the forest.
Wow.
They are instanced thousands of times and used like building blocks to assemble trees in different ways. Let's check
We
up
need
close the
this.
level of detail we're talking about here.
Wow. Whoa. That's
Lots of
actually
details.
stupid.
But this triangle representation is not the most efficient when
Like,
far away.
if you know how a tree actually looks for a game, looking at this is absolutely insane. Like, they have geometry for each leaf, like for each strand off the leaf. That's insane. Like, usually it's just a freaking sprite layered on each other. Like, what they do is, like, you have a flat 2D sprite, and then you put one like this, and you grab the same sprite and you do it like this, and then you have a 3D thing. And maybe if you want to be fancy, you do another one like this. You have 6, like a slicer of pizza, and then you have something that looks kind of nice, and then you just stack it on top of each other, and then you have a 3. But this
to the amount
is
of overlap.
freaking insane.
And that's why we made an adaptive voxel representation. Now let's talk about
Also
chaos physics.
insane.
For chaos cloth, we improve our cloth-to-cloth constraint.
Yeah. It's the
This
first thing I
removes a
talked
lot
about
of
is how the
challenge and
cloth
evaluation
shaped
when
around
garments
her.
are piling up and interacting with each other. Even for complex setup like Series Cape, we hit a sub-millisecond budget on PS5. With Chaos Flesh, we introduce procedural muscle activations to make
Like,
deformation and
again,
motion.
these things are so minor. You barely pay attention to these things when you're playing a game. But when you do, and it's there, man, it sells. Yeah, see, looking at the skin stretch and looking at the fur move around the muscle, or how the light distorts from the muscle.
We now support the baking of fluid surface data into lightweight assets to be
Jesus,
played
man.
back at low cost. This is going to give you high-fidelity water without the performance cost of real-time fluid simulation.
As someone who has done fluid simulation on Blender, I know how messy it can get. I know how big of a toll it can be on your computer. That thing, like moving,
High-fidelity
just doing this, moving the rock around and watching the water reshape itself around the rock. Baby. Oh my god. If I had to redo something like this on Blender, I would have to redo the entire simulation, and that would take me freaking hours. So crazy. How they with each version of Unreal. Like every time I watch one of these showcases, I'm like, what can they do next? What can they improve still? And then they come up with some crazy idea to do something. Like sometimes it's just maybe crazy ideas like nanite foliage, or maybe it's just a smaller tweak. But it's something that makes the experience so much easier and makes it so much more accessible. Because a lot of people talk about the clunkiness still of Unreal and Unreal 5, but we have to remember they're constantly improving this free engine. It's free. And with each update, it's just gonna make the games better, right? So, man, like I have to give it to them. Unreal is the future for now. For now, Unreal is the future.